ولي ولا نصير. لقد تاب الله على النبي والمهاجرين والأنصار الذين اتبعوه في ساعة العسرة من بعد ما كاد يزيغ قلوب فريق منهم ثم تاب عليهم إنه بهم رءوف رحيم. وعلى الثلاثة الذين خلفوا حتى إذا ضاقت عليهم الأرض عليهم الأرض بما رحبت وضاقت عليهم أنفسهم وظنوا تاب عليهم ليتوبوا إن الله هو التواب الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So the ayah that actually, as we said, what we would like to discuss tonight is the ayah 119 of Surah Tawbah. Thank you. Now, as you know, we had the Shahada of Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam this week. As an introduction, I need to mention a couple of points that we have talked about this before, but perhaps is necessary to, as an introduction, to remind ourselves of these points. there are names for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, nicknames, what we call alqab, or even kunya. As you know, alqab are the nicknames, and kunya are the ones that they come with Abu, Aba, that sort of thing. And for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, if it is a nickname that, for example, says Allah Ta'ala has given them, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam given them, or some riwayat, it says in the sky, in samawat, they are called that. Those names are not just any names that anybody can give people. And there are purposes behind, there are reasons behind it. Which means that when you call Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam something, either you want to say they are that and you're emphasizing for that particular imam, or that is a specific thing to that imam. With Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, all the alqab, all the names, apart from one, for all of them, when you apply to one, you can apply to all the other ones. But there's one name that specifically, not because others couldn't be that, it's because Allah wanted to emphasize that this particular name is just for Imam Ali alayhi salam, which is the name of Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. Amirul Mu'minin just for Imam Ali alayhi salam. Of course, if other Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam were supposed to be in the position, there would have been Amirul Mu'minin too. But Allah Ta'ala wanted to emphasize that this is specific for Amirul Mu'minin because of things that would happen afterwards. And when Imam Ali alayhi salam is Amirul Mu'minin, then in line with that, all Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam would be Amirul Mu'minin anyway. But the laqab, the name is just for Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. But other names that we give to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is for all of them. So if you call Imam Al-Sadiq, the sixth Imam, Imam Al-Sadiq, Al-Sadiq, all Ahlul Bayt are Sadiq. As we refer in the dua, as we refer in Quran. Allah Ta'ala in this ayah, which we just recited, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. In this ayah, we've got at least 3 groups. Who are those 3 groups? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. At least 3 groups, or 4 groups, you could say. Who are those 3-4 groups? Give me number 1. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Perfect. Group number 1. The first Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu at the start, that part. But the same group of Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu can have different versions. What's the next version? Yes. Before that, of course, you can say something else, but that's correct. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, the alladhina amanu that we mention here in the ayah, some of them are with sadiqin, some of them are not with sadiqin. Before that, ittaqullah. Some of them have taqwa, some of them don't have taqwa. Yes? There is another group, if anybody can say that, that would be very clever. These are all thinking, nothing to do with knowledge of some tafsir book or something like that. No, it is just thinking. So there's a book, there's a group, number 1, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, who doesn't have taqwa, who is not with sadiqin. Group number 2, Ya alladhina amanu, who has taqwa, but not with sadiqin. Group number 3, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, who has taqwa, and also is with sadiqin. Group number 4, no, you can't. No, you can't have that. No. You cannot have a group that does not have taqwa in with sadiqin. It's impossible. And that's what is the order. Group number 4 is in the ayah is no. In this ayah. The 4th group is sadiqin. Sadiqin is separate. Yes? Sadiqin here is separate from the people get in order. So Allah Ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, you people have taqwa and be with Sadiqeen. That means the Sadiqeen are another group. Yes? And also has another important thing. Allah didn't say ittaqullah to Sadiqeen, which means they already have taqwa. They did not need to be told to have taqwa. Yes? These are all just from the basic of the ayah, just looking at the ayah. So far we haven't gone to tafsir and I don't know, go to the literature or going to riwayah, nothing. Just looking at the ayah. So the ayah says, simple, as the statement Allah Ta'ala is giving an order as an absolute statement. Doesn't say, for example, كونوا مع الصادقين في الصلاة, كونوا مع الصادقين في الحج, كونوا مع الصادقين في الأخلاق. No. كونوا مع الصادقين means that anywhere that this group of as-sadiqeen, they are there, anything they are doing, if you are with them, you're doing the right thing. When he says be with them, because the ayah could have been in another version. Like what? يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله instead of وكونوا مع الصادقين وكونوا من الصادقين. What was the difference? كونوا مع الصادقين وكونوا من الصادقين. What's the difference? مع, as you know, translated with. Min, be part of them. Min, in Arabic, this min that we are saying is what we call min at-tabi'idiyya, means part of a group. Yes? Now, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala did not say كونوا من الصادقين. Said كونوا مع الصادقين. Why? First, it was the thing that we said. Because Sadiqeen is another group. You may not be able to be one of Sadiqeen. You may not be able. It's difficult. Or maybe impossible. You could say maybe it's impossible. But you could say this is the minimum. Like Allah Ta'ala says, كونوا مع الصادقين at least. If you can, كونوا من الصادقين. If you can be one of them. Be one of them. Good. But minimum. Be with them. Now, here the word as-sadiq. In Arabic, the rhythm, the wazn that we say, fa'il. Yes? There are two main things that comes in this rhythm. One of them is ismu fa'il. Is what it's called. Fa'il, ismu fa'il. Yes? Means the doer. Somebody does something. Somebody who does something, you can bring it in this wazn, this rhythm of fa'il. Like shakir. Somebody who does shukr. You can say that. Or alim, we can say. However, most of these are not ismu fa'il, which means somebody who does something. There are something that we call them sifa al-mushbiha. Sifatul mushbiha. What does it mean? What's the difference? Sifa, as you know, is an adjective. Is the adjective of somebody or something. Attribute of something. Sifa mushbaha is something that is established in another person. What's the difference? If you come and today you tell the truth, there is a fight here. One say that black car out there is mine, the other one says mine, and you bring the basically the evidence shows is this guy. You say, oh, this guy is Sadiq. He told the truth. Yes? He told the truth in this incident. That's it. Right now you call him Sadiq. No problem. You are right. He is Sadiq. But does it mean that he is Sadiq all the time? No. Does it mean that he's got all the conditions of being Sadiq all the time? No. What are the conditions of being Sadiq all the time? Sidq means matching reality with a statement. The reality with the statement being matched. Now, the statement, it could be a belief, It could be a word, a sentence, a statement that I make with words, or it could be an action, not necessarily being a statement that I make. It could be an action. And I'll explain all of them. So we say reality. Now, in my mind, I believe that 2 plus 2 is 4. This is the true statement. If I believe in that, I'm believing in something true. In my mind, I believe that at the moment the outside is dark. That's true. In my mind, if I believe this tissue that is white is black, that is not true. In my mind. So far I haven't said it. It's in my mind. The moment I make this statement saying this tissue is black, then I just made a false statement, and I'm not Sadiq anymore. I'm Kadhib. I'm a liar, because that is not matched with the reality. The reality is white, and I'm doing something else. Now, sometimes in some places, my action can be kadhib, can be a lie. Like what? Like any sin. Any sin is a type of lie. Why? Because in my action, I am doing something that is not supposed to happen. I am doing something that it shouldn't be there. It's a false act. As if I am making a statement with my action. Yes? Now, if I'm with my eyes, I am looking at haram, then I am lying in my action. Why? Because I am making a statement that my eyes are for looking at haram, while Allah has not left it for haram, has left it for halal. So I'm looking at haram, I am lying with my action. The truthful would stay and do the right thing. This third one is a little bit heavy. I give you an example about the action, which is very easy. Like when people go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. They say they give bay'ah, they give allegiance. They shake hands with the Prophet, say that we are going to be with you. That's their statement. But that statement is about action. Because saying or not saying doesn't mean anything. Unless in action you actually, it's because you say, I want to be with you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to defend you. Unless you get to Uhud, then you know who is the liar, who is not the liar. And the level of truthfulness there is showing itself. Some people stood by the Prophet ﷺ all the time, like Imam Ali alayhi salam. Some people left and they looked back, they said, oops, the Prophet is alone, they went back. Like Suhail ibn Hunayf, like Abu Dujana, they went back. Some people, they were so out of truthfulness and they were liars in their promise that they left. The Prophet ﷺ, you know what, in Jummah prayers, I told the story of Nasiba. Nasiba, the lady who protected the Prophet ﷺ in Battle of Uhud. Nasiba or Nusayba? Nasiba in the Kaaba. And Nasiba, the Prophet ﷺ says that everywhere I looked, it was Nasiba protecting me. Yes? While Nasiba is protecting the Prophet ﷺ, she doesn't even have proper instruments and arm and all that. There is one of those liars escaping. And the Prophet ﷺ says to one of the, in the riwayah says one of the Muhajirin. Or one of Ansar, I can't remember. Anyway. So he says, Fulan, oh guy, You're running towards hell, run. But drop your armor, drop your shield. Drop your shield and then run towards the hellfire. And he did. How shameful he was. He actually dropped the shield and he ran. Because he broke his promise. Now, you don't want to enter the event of Uhud because we talked about it in Jummah prayers and it's very interesting. Lots of good points there. Uhud, so important, so important. Uhud and Hunayn, so important, these two. Anyway, so this guy, the level of his truthfulness was at the bottom. So he was, with action, he was such a liar. Yeah, because he was running. He wasn't saying that I'm not with you, O Prophet. He wasn't saying that, but he was running away with action. Okay. Now, the people who stayed with the Prophet ﷺ and made a statement in their heart, in their words, and in action, they were the ones that truthfulness, sidq, was established in them. For them, being sadiq wasn't just an incident, wasn't just an attribute that we're giving in one incident, wasn't just ismu fa'il, was sifa al-mushbiha, which means establishing them. They are sadiq. That in the riwayah comes in this ayah is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says Amirul Mu'min, Imam Ali alayhi salam is the Sadiq here. And his children after him. The Imams after him. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, of course, has been famous for this, as you know, because they wanted to emphasize that, remember, this is the Sadiq one, like all the other Sadiq, the Sadiqeen, all the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Because there was another Ja'far al-Kadhab later on comes. You know, there's reasons emphasizing on that. For every of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, there is emphasis on something for a reason. Otherwise, they're all Sadiq, they're all Hadi, they're all Taqi, they're all Naqi, they're all of them are. As we say in the dua, in the ziyarah. Now, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, as we said, it makes an absolute statement about certain people to be with them without condition. What does it mean? They have to be ma'soom. One of the reasons for proving the isma of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is actually this ayah. And it's interesting. Fakhr Razi, as Ahlul Sunnah call him Imam. Imam Fakhr Razi, yeah? So it means very, very, very top scholar of them. He comes to this ayah, and very interestingly, he says exactly what we just said. He says this ayah proves that these Sadiqeen have to be ma'soom. But then comes and brings an excuse for us. He says, yeah, but that means that all Muslims collectively together, the jama'ah, they're all ma'soom. Because if they put all of their belief together, like as if there is something in the Muslim world that we all agree upon. Is there? I mean, do we know anything in the Muslim world that we all agree upon? I mean, it's saying, don't say that there is one God, because even we have to say which God, you know, amongst. Okay, we believe there is one God and there is a Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's it. But show me something else that people are, and don't talk about the number of raka'at of salah. That's another one. Fine. That's we agree upon. Apart from that, what else do we agree upon? Well, no, actually, Qibla, you got to think about it. Like, I'll tell you, you say Qibla, yes, we know original Qibla where it is, that's true. But finding Qibla, do we agree upon? No. So like you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you cannot, and it's dark and you cannot find the Qibla. There is no star, there is no sun, nothing. What's the rule of fiqh, the rule here, how are you going to pray? because you got to do 4 direction. But that's what you know. Do you think all Muslims say what you say? No. So that's if there's a fight there. Yeah, you can maybe do upwards, yeah. They can do what? Any direction, maybe, yeah. Yeah, but there is a fight there, that's right. At the end of the day, there is a lot that we fight and there is little that we agree upon. So when he says you can go based on that, then it's a joke. Then kunu ma'as-sadiqin becomes like, maybe as 10 items, that's it. And you don't even need to tell me. Like as if it makes sense. Allah Ta'ala comes and says, kunu ma'as-sadiqin. What do you mean, Allah? We don't understand. Who is sadiqin? Oh, it means that Qibla and believing there's one God and Allah. If you didn't say that, I still would have done the same thing. We didn't need that ayah. There is no point of this ayah if that's the case. Unless Allah Ta'ala wants specifically tell us that you've got to follow certain people. And where those people are, you're safe. What those people do, and you follow them, you'll be in Jannah. Unless that's what Allah wants to say. And that's one of the verses of Quran that you can definitely trust to understand the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have to be ma'soom. Yes, of course, they have the Mufassirin, they have brought few ayahs of Quran to say that maybe that's what the ayah means. Those verses, and I tell you which those verses are, they're not actually specifying the Sadiqeen. They're just giving more attributes Sadiqeen. That's it. Like what? Like ayah 177 of Surah Al-Baqarah, which is the ayah, about those 10 important things about being good. That Allah Ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين بالبأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون. They say, okay, well, this is it. Okay, fine. This is just giving the attributes of Sadiqeen. If we are saying even Sadiqeen is, as we said, established. It could be, this could be. In certain, there are Sadiq in certain circumstances, not that. Yeah? Because many people can be Sadiq. We can be Sadiq in different circumstances. We can be Sadiq. But we're not always Sadiq. We are Sadiq in certain cases. Or they bring another ayah, which is the ayah 23 of Surah Al-Ahzab. When Allah Ta'ala says, من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عهد الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. Again, attribute for certain people who are Sadiq, those people who did not leave the Prophet, they stood by their promise, as we said, of course. Or another ayah, which is the ayah 8 of Surah Al-Hashr, ayah 50, Surah 59. للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون. Clearly, this ayah is a particular incident that these people, they did hijrah, they stuck by their promise, they are sadiqun, of course. Of course, they're sadiqun. In that instance, they are sadiqun. Tomorrow they might be kadhibun. Tomorrow they may do something and say, okay, yeah, so far you were. In this instance, you were sadiq. Tomorrow there was a little bit of money involved. They may lie. Because they're not sadiq all the time. Sadiq all the time, as the Mufassir of Ahl Sunnah said, Imam Fakhr Razi, and all Mufassirin of Shia believe, being like that has to be ma'soom, has to be Imam Ma'soom, alayhim as-salam. And I think that's enough. Some people have come and said, oh, ma'a here doesn't mean ma'a, means min. This is a long shot, it's not, they cannot prove it. The riwayah comes and says that this Sadiqun actually here in this ayah means the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, as we said, as in the tafsir. You can see that. And I don't have a lot to talk about this unless you want me to elaborate on something. So you're welcome to ask a question. We can talk about that. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Any questions? No? MashaAllah. All ulama, all of you are ulama, have no questions whatsoever. Yes. Collectively, you have no questions. Collectively, you have no questions. One alim, you all together become one